Alrighty, so I'm gonna go to the track for the first time here in a couple of days. One thing that I kind of noticed, this intake does a great job keeping the intake temperature right about 5 to 10 degrees above what ambient temperature is. But once the car gets to operating temperature, the coolant reservoir here starts heating up the heat shield, and then I'm sitting at about 20 to 25 degrees above ambient temperature. So had a thought to put a little bit of insulation just to prevent that from happening. Stay tuned, I'll show you how. So what you'll end up needing is some of this reflective insulation, some silver tape, and some spray adhesive that is high temperature resistance. This reflective insulation runs about $10. The tape runs about $3, and this is $10 to $15 depending on where you can find it. So let's get started. All right, we'll start by removing the air filter. I've already loosened the clamp, so the air filter should just come loose here. So we got that out. It's a little dirty, so while I have it out, I'll get it cleaned as well. Next step is we're gonna clean all the dirt off of this. So we got the airbox all cleaned up. That way the adhesive will stick. I ended up using a 20-inch by 24-inch piece of the insulation. Cut it down to these two pieces. It's no real exact science. You just kind of shove it down in the hole and mark it off and cut it. So that's one piece. There's the second piece. This is a scrap piece right there and a couple other scrap pieces. So essentially, these pieces, we will put them down in the hole. And then I will get this lined up properly across the top here. Second piece will fit in right here, right around the intake, like so. We will use some of that silver tape to tape up the seam. There'll be adhesive on the back, that way the insulation sticks in there. I'm not gonna seal up this because this actually goes down into the fender, so that opens up in here. One day I'll actually remove my bumper. This is the fog lamp driver side, and I'll probably end up cutting out these parts right here, that way you get some more fresh air in there. But really, through this box, through the front side right here where it's all open behind the headlight, all that air comes in from the front of the car. That's the front grille right there, so you get a bunch of fresh air just rushing in right here. But let's spray some adhesive and get these all lined up and get that insulated to protect it from the heat from the coolant. So there's the back side of one of our insulation panels. Here is our spray adhesive. I've given it a shake for a couple minutes here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a layer of it on the back here. I'll turn off the camera and put it in the airbox of the car. That way I can get it all lined up right, and then I'll pick up the camera afterwards and show you guys after I have it put in there. I'm going to need two hands to do this, and unfortunately I'm the only one here right now. So just being by myself. So. That's probably more than enough, but I just want to make sure it sticks. So here's the first piece that's put in. You basically have to just put it in, hold pressure on it for a couple of minutes. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to begin to bond, but you can't really drive your car or do anything for about 24 hours because it just needs stable conditions to fully cure and dry. So forgot to tell you guys at the very beginning, don't plan on going anywhere for about a day. But there's the first piece. Let me get the second piece in over here. Alrighty, there's the second piece in. So really you don't need that silver tape if you don't want it, but I'm just gonna tape up the seams here and probably just tape it all across the tops here just to make sure nothing peels off on me later. But essentially that's your insulated air box to prevent it from radiating heat from the coolant system here, the coolant reservoir, which I'll do some testing here to see if it makes a difference, and I'll show you guys the results. But let me get it taped up, and we will do some testing tomorrow after this cures. Alright, so here's the foil tape. I've never used it before. It's almost like aluminum foil on the front, and then on the back there's this paper that you peel off to expose the adhesive side. So basically, I started the tape down on the bottom, and as I'm applying the tape up the corner of the seam, I'm just peeling the tape out. So there we have all that foil tape on. It's basically just overlapping over the top of the reflective insulation to help keep it from peeling up. It goes down and all the way around, and then right up across the seam there. So basically, if the glue gives out, it's still going to stick down. It's all heat resistant. And there's your insulated air box. It's still open on the front side for the air to come through. And then I will get that testing done, and I'll show you some photos of the intake temperature and stuff like that. So kind of an afterthought here, I was looking at the rubber seal that goes across the top here, and then the seal on the top of the hood. I think I'm just going to throw a little bit of that heat insulation here. That way I get a better seal all the way across and around, and I don't get heat radiating from the hood if it's been sitting out in the sun. We'll throw that on there real quick. So there's the insulation on the top here. That way we have a sealed air box protected from the heat.